In late 2002, the Pentagon, using satellites with ground-penetrating radar, would discover a large spherical-shaped cavern with a tunnel leading up to it in the Bucegi Mountains of Romania. Now normally they would look past something like this and not think much of it, but recently they had made a similar discovery in the undergrounds of Baghdad, Iraq. The only difference, the one in the Bucegi Mountains was much larger, and the mountains had a sphinx nearby. Yes, you heard me, a sphinx, just like the one by the Giza pyramids. So the US would work with Romania and they would both investigate the anomalies. And what they would find would change the course of history as we know it. As the teams approached the entrance in the side of the Bucegi Mountains, something would activate. It was a large force field blocking the entrance. Shortly after, one of the US officials would get a call. The one in Baghdad activated as well. So when one activated, so did the other. Initially, 3 soldiers would try to walk through the force field, but they would die of a heart attack instantly. So the officials would have to take a different approach. In order to deactivate the force field, you had to reach a higher state of consciousness. It took quite some time to discover this, but eventually, many were able to do it. When they finally reached the dome inside the cavern, it also had a force field around it. They opened it the same way. In this, what they would later call the projection room, they would discover perfectly cut large tables and chairs, much too big for present-day humans. They would find over 30 ancient texts written on tablets. That when you slid your hand across them, almost as if a smartphone, they would display a holographic image of the origins of the Earth. Not only that, it displayed every creature that's ever inhabited the Earth and how they came to be. Another station would allow you to mix DNA of any 2 creatures on Earth, then produce a holographic image of what they would look like. The room would have 3 doors, one going to the Giza Sphinx, the other going to Mount Kailash in Tibet. The third is said to have gone to inner Earth. That's not all. They would even find a large stone chair with what seemed to be attached to it a helmet. Right away you could see that the helmet was much too large for the average human being. The chair was set for a human about 10 to 12 feet tall, and the helmet would fit the head of this human. They figure it was an automated system that would get you to the highest state of consciousness immediately. Eventually, they would discover that it actually allowed you to use your astral body to time travel. As they proceeded, the discoveries would become even more magnificent. Continue downstairs to a lower level. Here they would notice a pillar-shaped chest in the middle of the room. After figuring out how to unlock it, they opened the lid. They would notice a beautiful white light emanating from the chest. Inside was a white dense powder. This would become known as Monoatomic Gold. This substance would cause a lot of diplomatic tension due to the fact that when consumed, this stuff could make you live for 1,000 years.